movie. So he said this is as close to real life spy shit.
Oh, wow.
Like in how they do drops and how they have information go from one spot. Like in movies, how they always do like the drop, they put it underneath like a picnic table or something like that. No, you wait for your contact to be there and you hand it off because it's just like a drug deal. If you're not going to leave something somewhere and then have leverage over that other person, you know what I mean? No. Everything is everything is like the messages from the telephone and how, kind of Mission Impossible, but not, you know what I mean? Like, this is a recorded message for Ethan Hawke, but it was all a little bit more.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Oh, Ethan, it's
Ethan Hawke.
That's what happens when you're in traffic for an hour before you podcast.
Coming from Uma Thurman. Whoops. Oh wait, they're divorced. Cheating on her.
Uh-oh. So, man, it's just like right now there's like 8 movies in the theater, and I wish my goddamn movie pass would show up so I can go see a movie like 4 of the 7 days of the week that I'm not working.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Blade Runner 2 was awesome.
Blade Runner 2049, baby. I heard there's like a one in the middle too, but it's like an animated series or something.
Yeah, and it just sucks because they won't. I don't think they'll do another sequel to this because it took forever. I mean, this was in production hell for like 25 years. I mean, they've been trying to get this movie made forever, and the budget on it was ginormous.
Yeah,
and it just didn't get enough. It got really good reviews, but it just didn't get advertised as much. Like, not a lot of people knew about it, and a lot of people now, younger people, they never really watched the first one. So and
I think now that the youth that are trying to catch up with this are not. I mean, they listen to mumble rap and they eat Tide Pods. But they're also like...
Well, it probably could be a pretty cool experience on a Tide Pod, Aaron.
Oh, shit.
But I just don't think that they're... If it was like a reboot, maybe they might be like, oh, what is this? But
it was sort of a reboot. I mean, we didn't know how it was advertised in the beginning. We thought it was going to be a reboot of the original Blade Runner.
Not when you saw Harrison Ford in the trailer. No way.
Well, but throughout the years, though, we just thought it was a reboot because that's what's really popular right now is bringing back old movies. I mean, yeah. Anyways, I digress. You know what that needs to be rebooted? The Hunger. That needs to be updated and made even more gnarly and have Skrillex in the background.
I'm just so tired of them rebooting everything. It's like, oh, we're out of original ideas. Hey, let's make this again. And what's even more obnoxious is a lot of times they don't really change anything.
No.
So it's like, not only is it, there's no creativity in there because you're rebooting something, you're rehashing supposedly an idea, but they're not even skewing from it at all. It's like scene for scene, like Footloose and all that shit. It's like, oh, let's just shoot the same movie 20 years later and everyone's going to be like, oh, this is such a great new movie. All the kids now that don't know any different,
Speaking of like reboots and stuff like that, I'm really glad that this phase in which we have taken Asian horror movies and then shot them shot for shot and having them over stateside, like The Grudge and The Ring. Like, I'm so glad that is over. Because now if you go to Netflix and you want to go see, I don't know, I was about to say Death Note, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, because they did an English version.
Yeah, they did. They did an English version now, and that was totally an Asian reboot. But you go see, like, well, they did it for that one, too. I was about to say, do you know the Revenge trilogy? That it's Lady Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and Old Boy.
I know Old Boy.
Yeah, well, that's actually part of a trilogy.
Oh.
And I mean, the stories are not all connected or any way, shape, and form. Maybe the first one and the third one are, but there's a lot of lost in translation there. Mm-hmm. But every time that's like my version of Lord of the Rings. I can watch that. My favorite. All the stories are based around some fucked up way of revenge.
Huh.
But if you watch the first one, it is, that's my niche though. I love Asian movies.
I'll be honest with you though, I I watched the original Ring first. Or, not, sorry. I watched the American version of The Ring first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched Ringu. The American version to me was scarier.
Not always, though. But they also had a larger budget.
In that case, it was.
Yeah.
All the other ones, though, that I've watched, the Japanese versions are way creepier.
Like The Grudge. That's actually, there's 3 Japanese movies of The Grudge. Oh, God, that thing terrifies me. Me being married to an Asian woman, and she just really wants to fuck with me one night. I'll be like, oh, I had
Is
a bad day.
her hair that long?
Huh? No, her hair's not that long, but it is the same kind of texture. So she can, run it over my face, and I'll be like, ah! And she'll start making the noise.
She needs to learn to, be able to backbend and walk backwards.
She needs to do The Exorcist downstairs,
walk
basically.
Backwards on all fours.
She did make me, broccoli and cheese soup today. I was like, is this pea soup? Because I just watched The Exorcist recently.
Oh, God.
I was like, no, she's like, it's broccoli and cheese. I was like, oh, all right. Okay, this is tolerable to eat.
God.
But going back to cool movies and series and stuff like that, I think one of the more excited ones that I am is the continuation of the Harry Potter shit. I'm really it's making me feel like a kid again. Actually going to see a movie.
And they're good. They're decent. They're good stories. It's not like, it doesn't have any of those other characters in it. Main characters from the other books, which is cool.
Well, it's 100 years before it.
This one is, yeah.
Well, all of them are. All of the Fantastic Beasts.
That whole thing is going to be prior?
Yeah, it's like the...
Okay.
It's sort of like a Wolverine origin stories kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's... because the next one is actually going to have Lestrange's family.
Oh, that's
cool. And the next one is also going to have a little bit of... the inspiration for Voldemort and... the character whoever Johnny Depp is playing. I think
they should do.
I've never read one of those books.
I think would have been
never
cool
read a single one of them.
If they do a movie with young Tom Riddle, like a whole young Tom Riddle series.
I think it's a possibility.
That would be really cool.
But the really cool thing is they're showing Dumbledore as a young wizard in how he was.
Yeah,
it's fucking trippy.
Who's playing him? It's Jude Law, right?
Yeah, the same guy who played Obi-Wan.
Isn't it? No. That's Ewan McGregor.
Oh, whatever.
Jude Law is the dude from.
I know who Jude Law is.
Every war movie that's come out in the last 15 years.
Was he in Fury with Brad Pitt?
No. Sorry, I stand corrected. My theory's already busted. Was that technically a movie though?
What, Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it
a
like a series?
No, it's a movie.
Oh.
It is one long tank movie.
Tinker Tailor's Enemy at the Gates. Jude Law is an enemy at the gates.
He's the Soviet, isn't he? Trying to battle the Nazi. That's the marksman.
Yeah.
Thou Who Is Shallow Afraid of Guns is one of the coolest movies. Is Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah, that. He's in all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, he's
I think
he's a multifaceted actor.
Dumbledore, or as Tino would call him, Grundlesnatch.
Grundlesnatch.
The best cribbage player in the world.
It almost sounds like a Las Vegas nickname for the geriatric community. Like Grundlesnatch every time he just pulls the lever on the slot machine and the penny.
What?
I don't know where I've been wanting to say something referencing to geriatrics.
Grundlesnatch sounds like some kind of ogre in World of Warcraft or something.
Or it sounds like the most lowest budget porn film ever made.
I'm Grundlesnatch. I'm Grundlesnatch. I'm a level 12 mage.
Oh God! You're going full nerd right now.
I've never played those games.
I sat in for one D&D game one time, and I turned around of where we were, and I was like, "Do they sell beer here? Because I don't think this is gonna happen." So I got atomically blackout drunk, and my character was killed the first night. So that's how much character.
Did you get a fireball to the groin? To the Grundle snatch?
Fireball to the Grundle snatch.
The Grundle teats? Listen.
The Grundle teats.
I'm not really into RPGs. I liked...
You like video game RPGs.
I liked Zelda. The original Zelda.
Okay.
And then
we were just all over the fucking place today.
And then
Skyrim.
No, what was the other Nintendo one? Dragon Warrior. Did you ever play Dragon Warrior?
I'm sure I did.
Oh my god.
Mine was Final Fantasy 3.
So I never got into those. I never got into
those were the fucking jams. If you were a nerd in the early 90s, fucking Final Fantasy. You asked me to play a Final Fantasy game today?
I played Shining Force. You ever play Shining Force on Sega?
No, I never played that one.
Because I had Sega Channel.
I was never a Sega guy.
Oh my god.
I think I had Sega Saturn for like a little bit.
Do you see all my Sega games over there?
I'm going to go look at them later.
That's my collection.
I wish I didn't sell all my old systems.
Oh, I have all of them.
To get the new ones, you know. So I sold the Nintendo to get the SNES.
Oh,
because I was a fucking kid making $5 a week on my parents' dime. You know what I mean? I had to clean. You know how long it is to get a Super NES making $5 a week? Can't even do that in a fucking year.
We kept everything. And then as I got older and I went to college, I would accumulate other people's systems. Like they'd move in with me and then they'd be like, oh, I don't want it. And then I just end up, I have like 2 Segas, 3 N64s, 2 GameCubes. I mean, I have multiple consoles and shit ton of controllers.
So that brings us to something I wanted to talk about. Is something cool that we might do. And I.
Mortal Kombat Tournament of the Death.
You know, it could be a part of this. So in the upcoming weeks, I'm getting ready to drop quite a bit of money on new equipment.
Okay.
So what I was thinking is that we start thinking about getting a gaming Twitch channel. So
what does that mean?
That means people will watch us play video games and give us money.
Oh, God, you want to watch me play video games?
I want to watch. You could come over to my house and speak. We could actually podcast while we're playing video games. It could be atomically fucking nerdy.
You don't want to watch me play Track and Field 1 because I will whip your ass.
But here's the thing. When you're not on and I'm not, you know, when we're both like gaming, we could game together because we both have PS4s. We're cool like that. I don't know where I'm going with this, but people pay other people to play video games while watching them.
I watch someone play video games. I am one of those people.
I know. Now there's an entire fucking market of it.
I have a specific person that I go on YouTube and I watch them play walkthroughs. And they're funny, but they're stupid at the same time. But especially like horror games, because I like watching games that are like a story. And I love horror games.
It's like watching The Last of Us when you're too poor to afford it. Even now? Like, I still can't afford The Last of Us. It's like $10 now.
I don't want to play them. Yeah, I can't afford to buy all these games. And I don't want to play it myself because I get scared. So I watch someone else play, and they talk, and they make these little quips and anecdotes like while they're playing. And then I'm not so scared. And I get to watch the game for free.
So here's what we're going to do.
Because I'm a dork.
So we're going to get... I'm going to have one for us, like the Salty Goodness Twitch channel. But it's also going to have micro sections, and I'm going to have a certain section called Watch Me Fuck This Up, the Dark Souls story. And I'm going to start it as soon as Dark Souls Remastered comes around. If you know me, the only time that I have patience in my life to do anything is with Dark Souls. It actually helped me become a better father, because I can't tolerate anything out of order, not OCD or anything. I just don't like stuff. Everything pisses me off. Mm-hmm. You already know this.
You are a very angry person.
That is true. So, with that being said, I'm not getting into the Twitch anything else more than that tonight, but might be something that comes our way.
Okay.
Yeah, people give us money. Oh, they're not listening to the goddamn show. I know that. So
they
can watch.
You guys can pay to watch me die playing Ninja Gaiden 45,000 times.
That sounds like a very marketable thing. That is a very common thing to most people. And we could put them up on fucking YouTube and shit. And people will be like...
Instead of 50 ways to die in the West, 50 ways to die on level 1 in Ninja Gaiden.
Watch Gooba die. That's just the name of the channel. Watch Gooba die a lot. And then watch me, and then have my channel, which is all just expletives, and we don't discuss lore or anything like that. One of those
games where you have to have infinite lives, like Contra, because you die... Something looks at you and you freaking die. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know how we could get like your old systems on it, but we could definitely figure something out. But I've got my gamer chair at the house. I've already
funny.
I got the one from the 80s that sits on the floor. You know, the one that swivels back and forth. My kid just uses that as a goddamn jungle gym.
Oh, I just used beanbags.